Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. 4-1 on the bets last week. We got this money. 2-0 on the teasers. Haters keep talking. We keep adding digits to the bank account. Let's get to the first game. Kansas City Chiefs -4 at the Los Angeles Chargers. Thursday night football. I got the Kansas City Chiefs to win in the cover. There isn't a whole lot of science, but we've been riding with them. When everyone wanted to bury the Chiefs in a hole, we kept batting them and we kept winning. And when I'm looking at this game, I'm nervous about the Derwin James injury for the Chargers. They absolutely need him in run defense and in pass defense. We know he missed last game against the Giants. That doesn't matter, but I have a feeling he'll miss this one. Plus, Chargers, they got a ton of injury concerns going into this game, and you never want to count out Herbert. He's got explosion. This Chargers offense is very, very explosive, but this Chiefs offense is more explosive. I got the Chiefs to win in the cover, not a money pick because it's Thursday night. Next game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Cleveland Browns. Baker, Las Vegas +6. I'm going against the grain here. I'm going Raiders to cover, Browns to win, and I told you 2 weeks ago that the Raiders were done. And I know everyone got excited about the Cowboys win, but they are done. But also the Browns are a team, they're going to keep you in games. And I'll say it again, I said it last week, I don't know if there's a quarterback playing lower level than Baker Mayfield. I just don't know if there is. And when you have Baker Mayfield turning the ball over, throwing sloppy passes, it leads to a closer game. I think the Raiders come in here, they play with physicality. It's enough to stay within 3, 4, 5 points. Don't bet this one, though. Next game, we got the New England Patriots. The hoodie at the Indianapolis Colts. New England is +2. Money, money, money! Money! Indianapolis to win in the cover with the -2. I love Indy in this game. And, say what you will about the Patriots, but they've been bullying people. And there's nothing better than in November and December, you bully the opposition out of your way. You got to give credit to this team. But the Colts aren't a team you can bully. You're not going to push their defensive line back. You're not going to push their offensive line back. So when it comes down to this game, I just think it comes down to who runs the ball better, and the Colts will be able to run the ball. And Wentz is always an issue. You always have to tiptoe with caution when Carson Wentz steps on the field, especially if you have money with them. But I feel like this is a good week to pull the trigger. Now, I know the bye week is actually working against teams, and the Colts are coming off a bye. Patriots are coming off a win. But listen, I think the Colts handle this game. I think they're more physical than the Patriots, and the Patriots can't win every game from here on out, right? Next game, we got the Washington No-Names at the Philadelphia Eagles. The No-Names are +5. I'm going pure fundamentals here. No-Names to cover, Philly to win. We've been riding both teams to pretty good records, pretty good bets. When I'm looking at this game, I'm nervous about Taylor Heineke's health, but we need to remember he doesn't add that much. So I think he will play this game even though his knee's pretty banged up. And the difference in this game is Hurts makes more plays than Heineke. And the Minshew talk is getting a little bit old because the Jets have the worst defense in this league. I think Hurts comes back. He runs for over 60, 70 yards. He's going to be in that range, and he's just going to make more plays. The No-Names should get healthy. They had bad luck on Sunday morning last week. They come in here, they play good defense, but Hurts is going to make 2 or 3 magical plays, and that's going to be the difference. No-Names to cover, Philly to win. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are -10.5. I'm going to take Carolina with the +10.5, and there isn't any science here. I won't be betting this one. Carolina should be able to keep it close. The Bills, aren't playing good enough football right now to win by 11, 12, 14 points. And plus Carolina, they'll be able to get some garbage points. And also, if Cam Newton is really focused in this game, he should be able to run against this Bills front. It doesn't matter how much they prepare for it. It doesn't matter how much men they put in the box. You can push them around. You can bully them. And Carolina's not a team to do that, but I think they'll do it just a wee bit, enough to keep this close, enough to keep Josh Allen off the field. And the Bills offense found heat against the Buccaneers, but we know the Buccaneers have an on and an off button, and the Buccaneers are going to turn it off, especially when it's in the regular season. Don't overreact. Bills are going to win. Panthers should cover. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. Go to my Instagram, Lawson Bets NFL. Go to the Patreon page, only $5 a month. Let's get this money. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Jets are plus 8.5. You know, fundamentals say Jets 8.5. You know, that's what fundamentals say. But I'm going the other way. Miami to win in the cover. And as this week goes on, I might have to pull the trigger on the money pick. I know minus 8.5 is an awful lot for a Tua-led offense. But this Miami team's going to play better defense than the Jets. And I've been coming on, yelling at this camera all year, arguing against the statisticians. Jets have the worst defense in this league. I don't care what stats you throw at me. I don't care what advanced statistics you throw at me. They have the worst defense in this league, and I see Miami getting 27, 30 points against them. And what's this Jets offense going to do? What the hell are they going to do? What are you trying to sell people? It's just pure snake oil. Jets aren't going to do anything. Miami wins and covers, and also Miami's home field advantage right now is really strong. You're up in New York, it's 30 degrees. You go down to Miami, it's 88 with a humidity level of 70 to 80%. Miami wins and covers. Next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys. Them boys at the New York Giants. Dallas is minus 10.5 on the road. I'm going Giants to cover, Dallas to win. I just don't believe in this Dallas team as much as other people. And I felt that way week 3. I feel that way now that we're at week 15. What have they really proven to us? What have they really done? They're going to win this game. The Giants don't have a lot of fight. They don't have a lot of coaching. They don't have a lot of creativity. If Daniel Jones comes back, pull the trigger on Giants to cover. As long as Kadarius Toney and some of these wide receivers play, you never know with the Giants. Dallas wins. Stay the hell away from this game. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Baltimore Ravens. Green Bay is minus 4.5. I'm going Green Bay to win in the cover, borderline money pick. We got to just wait and see how this week plays out. Lamar's injury is a problem, and you might want to put in this early bet for Green Bay. I know Green Bay didn't play good against the Bears last week, but I don't want people overreacting, and I'm not changing my mind. I still think they find a way to get to the Super Bowl. And you're looking at the Baltimore team that has no rhythm or gusto on offense. They have little to nothing, and now we can use Lamar's injury as an excuse, but there's more to this team than Lamar Jackson, and these guys on offense aren't playing well, and their offensive line is getting destroyed every game. Now Rashawn Gary's coming into your house, and I know Packers aren't the best traveling team in this league, but I think Aaron the Game Rodgers and the Packers, I feel like they hit with a heat check this game. Green Bay to win in the cover. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans. Tannehill at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Titans are minus 2. Money. Titans minus 2 winning the cover. Last week, we bet the Titans against the Jags. It wasn't something I liked doing, but it was something I had to do. The films just said I had to do it. It's the same thing with Pittsburgh. I mean, when are we going to understand that Mike Tomlin and Big Ben aren't to blame here? There just isn't a lot of talent in this locker room. There isn't a lot of gumption in this locker room. And when you're looking at the Titans, let's not talk about Tannehill. Let's not talk about Derrick Henry starting to run. I want to talk about this defense, and I've been impressed with it. And I don't see how the Steelers generate more than 10, 17 points in this game. And one thing the Titans offense has proved, Listen, they've gotten better as the year went on. They really missed Atlanta's head coach when he left as the Titans offensive coordinator. Titans offense is getting better. I think they get to at least 21, 24, and that's enough to beat Pittsburgh. We know crazy things happen at Heinz Field. We know Big Ben and Mike Tomlin, they're men who aren't going to go down without a fight, without a brawl. But the Titans are just simply better, and the Mike Vrabel stuff makes me nervous, but I'm not getting gun-shy. Titans to win in the cover. Next game, we got the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jags. Jags are -3. I'm digging my trench here. I'm just going to get down World War I, slinging mustard gas everywhere, just hoping it doesn't land on me. Jags to win in the cover. They're due for something, and we know the stuff that happened with Urban. We know about my money pick with the Titans last week to beat them up, and all that is relevant. But if you're telling me to pick between Davis Mills and Trevor Lawrence, that's like asking me to pick between a pork chop or a New York sirloin steak. I'm going with the steak, and when I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence, he hasn't had any help. But I feel like this friction in the Jaguars locker room will lead to a response. This Texans defense is good, but let's be real. When we look at the defenses of both these teams, the Jags have more talent on defense, but do the Jags have more fight? That's the only question and the only reason why this isn't a money pick. Houston beat them in the first game, but do I need to say any more? Davis Mills, Jags winning the cover at home. The Florida Heat should help. Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Zona at the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell. Zona -13.5. I'm going Arizona to win in the cover. Not a lot of science here. I think that we will see a response. We bet heavy on the Rams and we're rewarded for it. But I'm not out on Arizona yet. But the problem is I don't like their offensive line. But Detroit's defensive line isn't enough to test them. It isn't enough to hit Kyler Murray. It isn't enough to – and their defensive backfield's terrible. I mean, Detroit isn't the worst defense in this league, but you have the Jets. But they're pretty close to the worst defense in this league. I think Arizona gets into the 30s, and you're just talking about, well, how many garbage points can Detroit generate? What can Detroit do to somehow stay in this game? The answer is not a whole lot. Arizona to win in the cover. Next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons, Matty Ice, at the San Francisco 49ers. Atlanta is +8.5. I really like Atlanta to cover here, San Fran to win, and a lot of people disagreed with me about San Fran last week, did a separate video that San Fran would win the game. I'm not off on San Francisco. I just think the Falcons are going to come in here with a little bit of fight, with a little bit of gusto, and show a little bit of gumption. Now, when you talk about the Atlanta Falcons organization, these are the type of games where they'll get blown out 27-3. They won't even show up on offense. But Cordero Patterson, it's been 11 years in this league, and finally a team has found out how to use him to his best capabilities. I think Cordero Patterson gets some all-purpose yards here. I think it helps the Falcons. Falcons will do enough on offense to keep this close. And listen, I'm worried about the Falcons' run defense in this game. That's why it's not a money pick. Jimmy G still holds the San Fran offense back, and it's something you need to understand. And that's why the Falcons are going to cover. I think the Falcons come out really motivated here. This will be a playoff-type atmosphere. That's why I love this 8.5. The fundamentals definitely say it. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Denver Broncos. Cincinnati is +1.5. Money. Cincinnati to win in the cover. We did it with Baltimore earlier in the year when everyone was on Denver. We got our money from Denver, but it's time to get off. Theodore Bridgewater is a problem. And we can look at this receiving core. We can look at how good this defense is playing, but Theodore Bridgewater is a problem. Cincinnati will stop this run game. And when this Denver offense gets one-dimensional, they're absolutely terrible. They're not going to make enough plays. They're not going to do enough. And when you got Burrow, Mixon should be healthy. Always watch the health of the Bengals. Don't put this in early. I think the Bengals make way more plays on offense. I think they finally get serious. And listen, the Bengals season's on the line here. It is. They're letting this season slip through their hands. They desperately need a response, and I think we see a response. Now, I'm a little bit worried about Mile High. Okay, that altitude, the cold, it can slow down the Bengals offense. But I think the Bengals offense runs the ball good here, and you have to run it against Denver's defense because if you're full out pass like the Chargers were, you're going to throw 2 or 3 picks, and that's just how it's going to be. Cincinnati wins and covers. Next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are -6.5. I'm going Rams to win in the cover. And we can talk about Seattle, and you always get worried about Seattle. I just don't think the Seattle offense is fully evolved. I know they had 2 good games straight. One was against the Texans. One was against the Niners. I think the Rams have figured out what they need to do. Run the ball, hit them with play action. It's a simple formula, but it's a November, December type formula, and that's absolutely what they need to do. You saw Matt Stafford, how good he was in play action, and they were actually taking care of the ball. The only way Seattle can get into the 27s, the 30s, is if their defense gets 2 or 3 turnovers. Rams aren't giving it to them. And the Seattle defense, they give up a ton of yards. They're really good against the run, but they give up a ton of yards. I think the Rams will convert in the red zone. That's the difference here. Rams win and cover. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Saints are +11.5 on the road. This is one of those ones where it's like Russian roulette, and you always have to play psychiatrist with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going Saints to cover with the 11, Tampa Bay to win the game. Not a lot of science. Tampa Bay obviously needs to win this game, and New Orleans isn't getting enough quarterback. Actually, I'm changing the pick. Tampa Bay to win in the cover. I don't think the Saints will be able to run the ball. And that's the big thing. If you tell me Saints can run the ball, I actually believe they could cover this +11.5, depending where you bet. But I don't think they run the ball. Tampa Bay wins and covers. Next game and last game of the week, Monday Night Football, we got my Minnesota Vikings -3.5 at the Chicago Bears. The Bears. I'm going Minnesota to win in the cover. There is no science here because I told you guys, Justin Fields adds gusto and verb to this Bears team. There's not a stat that says verb or gusto or any of these words I use, but you can feel the different energy when he steps on the field. And Minnesota loves giving away games. They can't play a full 60 minutes. They can't stay focused, and I think they've quit on Zimmer, even though they're still in the playoff race. There isn't a lot of science. I just think this Bears defense doesn't show up again. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. We've seen this Bears defense quit last year. We've seen them quit 2 years ago. It's right around the time where the NFL players are booking trips to Aruba, Turks and Caicos, maybe Brazil. I think that's where the Chicago Bears defense is at. Minnesota gets into the 30s. I don't know if Fields can. Minnesota to win in the cover. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Go to my Instagram, Lawson Bets NFL, and make sure you check out the Patreon. Only $5